Hello guys, so finally the time has come to do a review about CZ BREN 2. I just came to pick this gun up. I was hoping to get 11-inch because it will be specialized weapon for night fighting, but they had only 14-inch. So it is what it is. The history of BRENs in Ukraine. At start of the war, we started to get immediately shipments from Czech Republic of those. From our sources in CZ Factory, there are many more contracts, many more private sellers that want to sell it in bulk to the Ukrainian structures, visiting the factory every day. So yes, there will be much more of these guns in Ukraine, and who knows, maybe eventually we might switch to those completely. We'll see. First time personally I got this type of weapon in the August of last year. Immediately we started to have problems, but those problems were not the fault of the BREN 2. Those were the fault of not enough training. We basically just got the guns and were immediately thrown into the operations. And unfortunately BREN 2 can't take what a Kalashnikov can take, but no other gun other than Kalashnikov can take that type of beating. So just for example, at one operation we basically become surrounded, let's say. The attack didn't went as planned and we found ourselves surrounded by Russian troops in the middle of huge wood block. So we made a triangle formation and started digging down for the night. The ground around Kharkiv is very sandy. It's same like around Kiev. The soil is fertile, but it's extremely sandy. So it's very easy to dig, but also the sand get absolutely everywhere. So over the night there was raiding, there were clusters coming in, there was evacuating wounded throughout the night, all that kind of stuff. The other day we came with guys because we evacuated wounded at night. I arrived with reinforcements the other day. We get out of there and we basically walked into the Russians on very close contact. Long story short, out of like 16 brands, probably 5 or 6 just had dead triggers, immediate malfunctions, didn't fire a single shot or fired a one shot. Fortunately, we were like 50 dudes in total, together with other structures that had AKs, and there was relatively few of the enemies, so we won the firefight. So just after this incident, I was like, okay, what is happening? Let's look closely into this BREN thingy, if it's really fault of the gun, or just our fault, or fault of the environment, or combination of all. So I took 3 of the guns that became stuck in the contact. I cleaned them. I got 3 types of magazines: GI magazine, Magpul magazine, and this CZ magazine. I got 3 types of ammunition: 55 grain Federal, then Army ammo 62 grain, and Triple G 62 grain as well. And I was firing, I think, 5 magazines from each gun total, in full auto, in single shots, with different magazines, with different ammunitions, and mixture of all of those, without single malfunction. So I can say that all of that is just fault of maintenance. You really need to take care for this gun, but not overly cautiously, okay? The gun works, the gun can take beating, and definitely can go without cleaning. But it's not on par with AK-74, unfortunately. It is what it is. So we will go from front to the back. We have a free-prone flash hider. Personally, I prefer free-prone flash hiders. They are amazing. Here we can see all the modern profiling. We don't get the annoying boing sounds like from the very early Surefires or FN Scars flash hiders. So this part, perfect. Then we don't have crash washer like on AR-15. We have just nut that we tightening toward the flash hider itself to keep it from rotating. Here we have 14-inch barrel. We also have 11-inch barrel variants. Exclusively on the 14-inch and the 16-inch that we have also, but those 16-inch long guns, they are 807s, they are not BREN 2s. We have bayonet locks. You might laugh a little bit, who uses bayonet? The coolest people, the old dudes, they still fixing their bayonets, and it's a very cool thing to see, and people do it still, okay? So bayonet lock, not bad thing at all. Then we have gas block with our gas regulator. So this is how you would be running it normally on the position 1. Just with our hand or spent casing, if it's get hot, we can turn it to get a little bit more gas into the system. When the gun is dirty or we getting short stroking, right, the gun does not cycle completely, we put a little bit more gas to the system. Then we have third position, we shut off the gas completely. Said to be because of the requirements for firing rifle grenades. I never seen rifle grenade in my life for 223 caliber gun, so who knows. Now the by far worst part of BREN 2 is the short handguard. It's bulky too, yeah, you get 4 rails, there is no M-lock, nothing, so it's just really extremely beefy. Big problem. I heard they make it so short because of the weight requirement. There was some tender for Czech army. Yes, and the weight requirement, they just couldn't make it, so they were kept shortening the handguard. But who knows where is the truth really. But this is annoying, and once you start putting all your accessories on, it's very bad. So this weapon is ideal to have vertical forward grip. I hate vertical grips personally, so that's why I'm just rolling with how it is. We have swing swivels in the front, on the left and on the right side of the weapon. No QD mounts on this version. So your traditional AK sling will work. It worked for me for many years and that's just how it is. We have front sight, which is like clone or maybe even licensed copy of Troy Industries sights. Those are metal, very sturdy, very good. The rear is a peep sight, so there is really no complaint at all on those. As I mentioned, we have short stroke gas piston, so we can remove of course the piston from the front, both of the portions, it's like 2-piece system. We're going back, we're getting our charging handle. I see many of those charging handles bent, you know, because when people fall on them, it's inevitable, okay? Or inside vehicles, yes, it's easy to smack it and bend it. But it's nothing out of the ordinary, mine works just fine, so no problem with that. The problem is when you start wrecking the guns, charging the guns, you might run into problems because your hand will start hit wider optics, like for example this EOTech. But again, I'm not a competition shooter, I'm a soldier, so it's okay for me. I really don't complain at all, it's just in consideration if it's a problem for somebody. Also there is aftermarket support in America making those foldable, longer but foldable or a little bit angled downwards, stuff like this. There are ways around this issue. Then we get around the magval that accepts standard AR-15 magazines to this part with all the controls. So first, the good part is the safety. It's ambidextrous and like this is safe, semi and full auto. Personally, I love to change between semi and full auto. I use full auto a lot, much more than normal people would. I have my reasons behind it. That's how I just learned over the years. So it's great. So on the AR it was a little bit hard for me because on AR you go 90 degrees and then another 90 for full auto. Here it's much quicker, so I love that. Also the safeties usually they go very smoothly, very nicely, exactly as you want them to be. Sometimes when people paint their guns they get a little bit of paint inside and then it becomes stiff and it's actually a nightmare. Then we have our bolt catch. So we charge the gun, we put the bolt catch on. The bolt catch is inside the trigger guard, there is one, that goes vertically like this, and then we have the traditional AR style. I would completely, if I was a designer, I would completely get rid of the inside the trigger guard one. There is no reason for it, but okay, no problem, I just use the pedal like on AR to release the bolt. So I press, bolt go forward, no problem. Now, here we have this big pedal on the left side of the gun. This is a nightmare. On my first mission with this gun, my magazine fell on the ground like 3 times, okay? So, I hate that. I would like to cut this if I could, or if the factory can make some bigger fencing around it, like for example Heckler Koch 416 have. But this is just too much. When the soldier rests his gun, right-handed soldier rests his gun on his gear, the magazine go to the ground. I've seen it so many times. On the other side we have traditional AR-15 button, like so. So this works amazing. Then we go further back, we have pistol grip that have exchangeable back straps. It depends which gun you get issued. Sometimes it have, in my opinion, the smallest, sometimes like the medium pistol grip. Or maybe it's just a subjective opinion. Anyway, there is no way to buy more of these grips to fine-tune the gun. You just have what you get with it and it's okay. It's like little bit wide and little bit short this distance. But it's actually comfy and the angle is just right, so no problem there. Then we have our rear sight, peep sight, which is good too. Then we have our stock. The biggest problem is that the stock doesn't have any QD mounting points. Fortunately, they rectified it on the new stock. This might be the only one in Ukraine with the QD mount, so I'm lucky to get it, and in the updated versions I bet they will be going with the other stock, but generally we have 3 positions on it, and it works okay, it's sturdy. We get rubber butt pad, no problem there. Where sometimes problem occurs is if you fall on the gun, sit on the gun, or you just get bumped, you jump to the ground and this piece break off. Okay, where is the latch? And then of course the stock have nothing to catch on, and yes, that's definitely a problem. Also, when people unfolding their stock from transport position, you can see a little bit of flex in this. It's not an issue because most of the time you will have the stock extended anyway, and you are just careful when you unfolding. That's what I do personally, to press the button and then release it once it's fully extended. So no problem there, but yes, when you sit on this stock with all your weight, you will break this off, it's just inevitable. And then we have a rear mounting sling swivel. So overall, this gun is okay, yeah. The CZ did the right step by creating this one, and they're not stopping with the evolution of this gun, same as they're not stopping with evolution of the CZ Evo 3. There will be next generation, and I think that's the right approach. Now you can get versions with long hand guard that have M-lock on them, stuff like this, especially as civilian. So, would I recommend this gun for you to buy, meaning civilian clone? I would not. I would recommend you get AR-15, that's your number one choice. But if you're thinking, okay, I want to try something a little bit different, some different operating system, different type of weapon, then CC BREN 2 being your second choice right after AR, I would fully support that. Because this gun is interesting, this gun is cool, and at this point it's even proven. So absolutely no problem there, go for it. Now to the magazines. This is how CC Mag looks like. You can see the obvious PMAG inspiration. It's sturdy, they do work great, okay, for guys. I still think that the Magpul is slightly better, just only because the polymer, for example, on the follower on the Magpul just seems to me better. But there is no tilting of the follower, nothing. It's just a good modern magazine that CZ gives to those guns. Together with weapon, we get only 2 magazines. So what you do, you go to shop with your money and you buy Magpul PMAGs. You get those and you're pretty much good to go.